So as we start, one can see that this video is about Hermes and Persephone, and we can see that Hermes' son is Myrtilus, so it relates to Isaiah, and then we have Caduceus, which is his use of weapon, and then we have part where it relates to Orion, and the book is about the people of Orphalese, which I've googled, Orphal meaning a Delaware or a type of valley road, which I believe is likened to a brook or a holloway. And then we have say the myrtle branches. Every part of this video you'll see that the book's about a puzzle and has to be solved. No one, I believe, has solved it, and then I'm trying to unsolve this, and then you can see that it relates to a garden. We have a likening to seasons and the sun, which relates to Eve, and we have cups, heavy laden fruit. It speaks of a threshing floor, relates to the temple mount in Israel and David. Found that, and we have an oak tree and a cypress and myrtle tree. They go together, like I say, and relating to Adam and Eve, David and Bathsheba, or Ben David and Hermes and Persephone. And we talk about an archer, relates to Ezekiel. It talks about Ezekiel says that he's an arrow, polished arrow in his quiver, an arrow sack. And it's speaking to the Isles when this is mentioned, which I believe is England, land of the angles or arrows, Ephraim being Great Britain. We have a tree of heaven, we have a vineyard and wine, speaking of Israel, Palestine. Jesus talked about himself being the vine. We have talks about a weaver. Persephone was really likened to being a weaver or a tailor. Names are very important within the Bible, the etymology of names, and they do repeat within reincarnations. So it's about a God self related to the sun, angels, the rainbow. Hermes Pan was the god of the rainbow. We have just metaphorical language about everything you can think of here relating to Adam and Eve. And then we have incredible amount about the potter. Oh yes, it mentions a potter. Being Harry Potter, related to God being a potter, and then Ben David being a potter. Weavers and potters and goes of spices. Master of spirit and earth. King. Talks about winter being grief. Persephone was kidnapped by Hades, saying it was much grief and sorrow then, and then we had the winter months. And it's just a short video, really, 2 minutes 15, and there's much to look into. Obviously, I've got a degree. One could argue these are not related, I'm looking into things, but Gibran was definitely an occultist. He believed in the Bible. He was very much into God and Christianity. He was a poet. He encrypted a lot of things, just like Edgar Allan Poe. They all focus upon ancient Greek and Roman history and paganism, which relates to the Bible as well. There's no doubt about that. And the Bible mentions specifically that within Judaism that David is the moon, and that Eve is the sun, and that Bathsheba is the sun, and that this was reversed within Isis and Apollo, who another husband of Eve, and that he was the sun, the rising sun, and she was the moon. That's why she's pictured with the moon, half moon crescent and wings. And then it's reversed. David becomes the moon and she's the sun. And that Ben David becomes the rising sun. So everything has a foreshadow, and then it's realigned by God. rectified, and as will be within the Mormonism, we have Joseph's stick, the stick of Joseph, which is the Book of Mormon, which is added to the Bible, which he mentions within the Bible. And there you have within their literature that Adam is the Ancient of Days within the Book of Enoch, and that is in fact him reincarnated, that is partly symbolically a king. Jesus is the king of your kingdom, but he is the symbolic ensign flag of the kingdom. So he's a bit like England's king, which is basically a symbolic king. He doesn't really have that much power, although he does actually have a lot of power, King Charles. But